The Al-Hakim mansion stood like a palace on the hill, glowing with gold, marble, and power. It was the kind of house people dreamed of, gates taller than trees, fountains that never slept, and halls so wide they echoed even whispered thoughts. But inside those walls, joy had vanished. Layla Al-Hakim, the billionaire matriarch, lay unconscious on her silk-covered bed. Machines beeped softly around her, each sound a reminder that even money could not buy time. The best doctors from across the world had come and gone. London, Germany, Japan, the United States. Each one left with the same grave expression and the same words. "We are sorry. There's nothing more we can do." Her son, Zaid Al-Hakim, stood by the window, fists clenched, eyes burning with helpless rage. He owned hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, entire medical research wings, but not a single one could save the woman who raised him alone after his father died poor and unknown. "She can't die like this," he whispered. "Not after everything." Outside the room, whispers floated through the corridors. Servants spoke quietly, afraid of being heard. The mother of a billionaire, dying like an ordinary woman. Even billions are useless now. Among those servants was Amina, the quiet maid no one noticed, except to mock. She was thin, dark-skinned, dressed in a worn uniform, her hands rough from years of scrubbing floors. The other staff laughed at her accent, her silence, her habit of whispering prayers under her breath. They called her the village girl. They didn't know that Amina came from the mountains, where knowledge passed not through books but through generations, where her grandmother had healed entire villages, with plants the world had forgotten. Amina had been cleaning near Lady Layla's room when she overheard the doctors speaking. "Her organs are failing. We've tried everything modern medicine has to offer." Amina's heart pounded. She stepped closer to the door and looked at the woman lying inside, pale, weak, fading, and then she saw it. The faint bluish tint on Layla's lips, the barely visible tremor in her fingers. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind. "When the breath grows cold and the blood turns heavy, seek the mountain herb that blooms only at dawn." Amina gasped. "No," she whispered. "It can't be." She rushed to the kitchen where the staff were gathered. "You," one maid scoffed. "Why are you running like a rat?" Amina swallowed her fear. "Madam Layla, I think I know what is wrong." Laughter exploded. "You, a cleaner. Go wash dishes, village girl." But Amina didn't laugh. She bowed her head and whispered, "If you do nothing, she will die." Silence followed her words, thin, sharp, dangerous. Moments later, Zaid himself stormed into the hall. "Who said that?" he demanded. Every finger pointed at Amina. She stood trembling, but she didn't run. Zaid looked at her like she was invisible. "You," he said coldly. "You think you know more than world-class doctors." Amina's knees shook, but her voice didn't. "I don't know medicine," she said softly, "but I know sickness, and I know healing." Laughter echoed again. Zaid's assistant stepped forward. "Sir, she's wasting your time." Zaid raised a hand, silencing everyone. His eyes burned with exhaustion and grief. "What do you want?" he asked. Amina inhaled deeply. "I need permission to bring an herb from the mountains." "An herb?" Zaid scoffed bitterly. "My mother is dying. This is not some fairy tale." Tears welled in Amina's eyes. "My grandmother cured people doctors abandoned," she said. "She cured my own mother when she was given 3 days to live." Zaid turned away. "Take her out," he ordered. But just as the guards approached, a weak cough echoed from the bedroom. Everyone froze. Layla's hand twitched. Zaid spun around. "What did you say causes that?" he demanded. Amina whispered, blood turning heavy, breath growing cold. The head doctor stepped forward, pale. "That matches her symptoms." The room went silent. Zaid stared at Amina like he was seeing her for the first time. "How long?" he asked. "I must leave now," she said. "The herb blooms only before sunrise." He hesitated, then nodded sharply. "If this is a lie," he warned, "you will regret it." Amina bowed. If I fail, I accept whatever punishment you give. She left the mansion barefoot, running through the night, heart pounding, prayer on her lips. No one believed in her, but she believed in her grandmother. The mountain air cut like knives. Amina climbed in the dark, her breath heavy, her legs burning. Memories flooded her mind, her grandmother teaching her which plants healed, which killed, which saved lives when hope was gone. As the first light of dawn touched the peaks, she found it. A small plant with silver-edged leaves and a faint blue glow. She fell to her knees, crying. "Thank you," she whispered. She harvested it carefully and ran back, hours later, blooded, exhausted, barely conscious. When she arrived, the mansion was silent. Zaid stood waiting. "You have 5 minutes," he said. Doctors watched skeptically as Amina crushed the herb, mixed it with warm water, and gently placed drops on Layla's lips. Nothing happened. 1 minute. 2. Then, Layla gasped. Machines went wild. Her color returned slowly, breath by breath. A doctor shouted, "Her vitals are stabilizing." Zaid collapsed to his knees. Hours later, Layla opened her eyes. Zaid held her hand, crying like a child. "You came back," he whispered. Layla smiled weakly. "God sent someone," she said softly. She turned her head. "Where is the girl?" Amina stood in the corner, head bowed. Layla reached out. "You saved me." Amina fell to her knees, sobbing. "I only did what I was taught." Zaid walked toward her. Everyone held their breath. Then, he bowed. "I laughed at you," he said. "I was wrong." Amina was no longer a maid. Zaid funded research into traditional healing. He built clinics in the mountains. He placed Amina in charge. But more than that, Layla held Amina's hand and said, "You are my daughter now." And for the first time in her life, Amina felt something greater than survival. She felt belonging. As sometimes the world laughs at miracles until it needs one.